Hey guys, it's Winters MMA here, back with another video, and today I'll be discussing what happened to Tony Ferguson. What happened to the guy with a relentless pace, cutting pressure, crazy cardio, knees and elbows that will slice you up, elite grappling, and how did he go from being on a 12-fight win streak to an 8-fight losing streak? Well, in this video I'll be talking about all that and more, so make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and be sure to let me know what you want to see next in the comments. So, yeah, Tony Ferguson, he's a fan favorite. He's one of my favorite fighters personally. I really liked his fighting style when he was in his prime. He's very unorthodox. He was hard to prepare for, but it's like when he fought Justin Gaethje and Gaethje dismantled him, it seemed like he just broke. Obviously he had some pretty bad mental health issues and stuff, but I won't go too deep into that into this video. Yeah, he was scary. El Cucuy means the boogeyman. He was the boogeyman. He was a scary guy to deal with. He was very well rounded, and a lot of people, they just didn't know how to handle that. And that's why Justin Gaethje was such a big underdog in their short notice interim title fight. Tony Ferguson came from season 13 of The Ultimate Fighter, Team Lesnar versus Team Dos Santos. He won the show competing as a welterweight by knocking out Ramsey Nijem in the finale. From then on, he would have a pretty good early career in the UFC, until he fought Michael Johnson on short notice. He got dismantled. He got dropped in the first round, and Michael Johnson, he definitively beat him. I wouldn't say he dominated him, but by the end of that 15-minute fight, there was a clear-cut winner. And that's kind of the thing with Michael Johnson. He's had a very up-and-down career. He knocked out Dustin Poirier. I know, right? And he beat Tony Ferguson, which, at least it used to be a pretty good win. It's not aging so well now. But Michael Johnson has had a really crazy career. But yeah, Tony Ferguson, I think he knew something had to change, and from then on, he didn't lose a fight. He had a 12-fight win streak, which was predominantly at lightweight. Yeah, he competed mostly at lightweight, which he had a 12-fight win streak, and he was scary, man. Tony Ferguson's 12-fight win streak spanned from 2013 to 2020. His notable wins are Kevin Lee, who he submitted for the interim title, Edson Barboza, who he also submitted, and Anthony Pettis and Donald Cerrone, two fan favorites who he TKO'd via doctor stoppage. One of the matchups we never got to see with Tony Ferguson was Habib Nurmagomedov, and this is a really intriguing one. A lot of people believe Ferguson might have been able to beat him, or at least put up a hell of a fight. And honestly, I believe that too. If you just look at his resume, his win streak, his skill set, he had a 5-star Darce choke. He had great speed, cardio, endurance, leg kicks, and his striking was just top tier. And another fight we never got to see him in was against Conor McGregor, which is a very, very intriguing one for me personally, because these two couldn't have been more different. McGregor was a flashy striker who lacked grappling and cardio, while Ferguson's game was mostly about grappling and cardio. He'd use he'd use trips and kicks to set up takedowns. He'd make you uncomfortable on the feet and force you into panic wrestling, where he'd capitalize off of you. And he had no problem working off his back, as seen by his many triangle chokes and arm bars and Darce chokes. And he had so much potential. If Habib hadn't pulled out of the final fight they were supposed to have scheduled, again, and he didn't fight Justin Gaethje, there's no telling what he could have done by now. But for some reason, Ferguson, he decided to finish his weight cut after the Khabib fight was cancelled, which is a very odd thing to do. He was basically cutting water and dehydrating himself for no reason at all. And I know Ferguson had some severe mental issues like schizophrenia, and he had episodes. He'd been arrested by then. But it seems like a very odd thing to do, especially when you're cutting weight just 2 weeks later. And I believe that severely impacted his performance against Justin Gaethje. It was an absolute beatdown. Domination from the start to the very end. Of course, I'm a very big fan of Justin Gaethje, and I'm very happy that he beat Paddy Pimblett. But I certainly feel bad for Ferguson, as he never got that Khabib matchup. He was stripped of his interim title, and he never got to fight for the undisputed title. He had 2 interim title fights, which he went 1-1 in, and it was a real shame. The UFC wasted him, and of course, after the Gaethje loss, it all went downhill from there. After his TKO loss in the Justin Gaethje fight, Tony Ferguson would have no more wins in his MMA career. From 2020 to 2024, he went on an 8-fight losing streak, which included losing to names such as Beneil Dariush, Paddy Pimblett, Charles Oliveira, and Nate Diaz. There is no shame in losing to any of these guys. They're all very good and at the top level of the sport. But it's in the way he was losing. He got brutally packed away with a front kick by Michael Chandler. His arm was about to explode in that Charles Oliveira armbar, and if there were 10 more seconds on that clock that night, he would have been going home with a broken arm. He got dominated and taunted by Nate Diaz, who didn't take the fight seriously but still choked him out in the 4th round. And there's something to be said about Paddy Pimblett's destruction of him, as even he felt a little bad after the fight, because he was a young guy just demolishing a veteran. And he has taken so much damage in his career. It's, his toughness has always been a feature of his popularity, but near the end of this losing streak, fans wished that he'd stop being tough, because it was starting to impact him severely. He no doubt has a lot of damage done to his body over the years. Even before the loss streak, He tore his knee tripping on a wire, and he had to pull out of the Khabib fight. He was put in submissions that any normal person would have tapped out to, but he just refused, and I'm sure that's cost him, and it's really sad to see. This has been my video on Tony Ferguson and his downfall. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below on what you'd like to see me do next, and thank you, as always.